Hi, it's Lauren from 52 Weeks of Hope. Anybody who's watching the recording, welcome to you too. I love that. And I've got Angela here. I'll let you introduce yourself and then we'll go ahead and dive right in
Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is Anjua Maximo, and I'm a life and central movement coach for women.
and talk about what you do.
Oh, yes. So I currently have a beautiful community that I've built on TikTok of mostly all women, 98% of them women. And what we do a lot of on this TikTok is talk about our self-development, talk about how we are making choices, talk about how we can move in our bodies more confidently. And then I do this privately also as a coach, one-on-one. And then I also have group classes where I do it with bigger groups of women. So that's essentially what I'm doing nowadays.
Yeah, which I just love. And Andrea's episode 142 of 52 Weeks of Hope.
Yeah,
So it's such a good podcast. I've already had friends text me going, I love this week's episode. And
that's
I was
awesome.
like, I was so entrenched in work. I looked up which I knew I was going live with you today. So I'm like, why do I have to look this up? I went, oh, I love her. Yeah. They go, I love her too. I told them we're going live. So,
That's great.
and it's, discovering the magic of your purpose. And
Yeah.
today we get to talk about, just how you came to your own intuitive magic. And it doesn't have to be movement. I know movement is what you're about,
Mhm.
but for somebody that wants to get in touch with their intuitive self and unleash all their greatness, how would you recommend they start?
Well, I have to say, it's so funny because I just posted a video about this, about trusting your intuition. And it does always, for me, start in the body because it's a feeling. It's a feeling that
Mhm.
we have to begin to recognize. You don't have to dance to find the feeling. But I always say, start by feeling into what a no is and asking yourself, what does no feel like in my body? And seeing if you feel a response. What does yes feel like in my body? And it's going to be different for everyone. But typically, a yes, even when you are excited about something, you'll notice it feels expansive, it feels big. It can even feel a little jittery, but in a different kind of excitement, fear of excitement in a good way. But if it's a no, typically, it can be different for everyone, it's a constricted feeling. It's going to feel tight. It's going to feel like a lead in your belly. There's a dreaded feeling to it. And that's what you start to learn. That to me is you feeling into things. Now, you can always do more inquiry around it because then there comes a piece of outside of the body is doing your due diligence, ask the questions you want to ask, giving yourself permission to inquire, giving yourself permission to sleep on things, and then feeling again into the body and then trusting and making a choice. But the other half of that is just releasing a little bit of control over what the outcome is and understanding that there's no bad choices, there's just choices.
Yeah. I just love that so much. It's so true. It's getting quiet, closing your eyes and just
Mm-hmm.
breathing into that and not asking other people because you know what's right for you and going around asking everyone else, do you think I should do this? Or especially what if you ask the wrong person?
Oh,
Or
that's the
somebody who
thing. No
has
one
their
has a
own.
crystal ball.
Yeah, and they may have their own agenda for you anyway. So you have no idea. You do know, you don't know what's going on with them, but you do know what's right for you. You
Yeah.
know, there was a list of all these things. One of those old school people, like, use the good dishes or whatever it is. I don't have good dishes just for say, but you know what I mean? One of those old
Yeah.
school things. I don't remember. And the last thing, and I can never find it again, but the last thing was, you know, you know.
Hmm.
And that was the last, like, big piece of advice, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
that's good." That's before I was even, like, in this world, so this is a long time ago. But
But
you
since you
do.
started listening though, didn't you feel like you gained more confidence even if the choices didn't always end up the way you wanted? It was just the experience of having made a choice to me is what built my confidence,
Oh,
you know?
absolutely, and
Mhm.
it's from our wrong choices that we get our biggest lessons and our most
Right.
growth anyway, so not taking action, the inaction is the worst.
Right. And it's a
That's
choice. It's still a
Yes,
choice.
that is, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, absolutely, and so right now everyone always says right now is the most powerful time to manifest anything. And yes, it is. I don't care when you're listening. That is true.
Mhm. It is. It is. And when we do, it's like, can we do so though with I'm practicing this non-attachment to it though. because what we want can come in so many different vehicles, and I
Yeah,
think that
yeah.
piece is what I'm learning about, manifestation. It's like, but I wanted it in this vehicle. I'm like, yeah, but you're still getting it. It's just coming in this
Yeah.
vehicle.
There's no telling. It's never on our
Right.
timetable, and it's not gonna show up the way you think. But, like,
No.
if it's meant for you, it's coming.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If it's a person, your soulmate, if it's the career, if it's and I was talking to somebody and they're like, "I love when I feel jealous, because
Oh,
that makes me know, oh, this is something else I want."
I care
And
about
it's
it.
a wake up.
Hmm.
It's a wake up call like, "Ah, this is something clearly I want."
Hmm.
And it gives a little bit of something to be self-reflective and everything else when they feel jealous. And I
Oh,
went,
that's
"Oh,
really interesting.
isn't it?" I thought that was such a good way to look at jealousy. And I was thinking about that because I was about to ask, when you see other people getting what it is that you wish you
Yeah.
had, and
Yeah.
you feel like life's passing you by and things like that. But if somebody else is getting what you wish you had, call them, DM, email, say, "How'd you get there?"
I'm going to go one further with you though, because I
Okay,
heard this the
go.
other day. This blew my mind. They said, don't wish for what they have because you don't know what's coming attached with what they're
Yeah.
getting.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So be clear.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You want to get ahead or you want to have the thing, but be clear about what you want, your
Yeah.
path. Call
Yeah,
that
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Don't
Good
call
point.
in what they want because you don't know what's coming along with that. I was like, oh,
That's
because I've
so
been
good.
there before. I have. I've been there when I've sat there and going, why didn't I get chosen? Why wasn't I, asked to do this? Or why was I not good enough for that? And it's a tough thing to sit in because there comes that gremlin voice, there comes this, the comparison piece, but it really does rob us of just using that adrenaline, as your friend is saying, in like a different way. Okay,
Yeah.
you want it. So find your path to get there, but not
Yep.
their path. Yeah.
Yeah, and look at other people that are doing what it is that you want, and then write it in a way that you want it. Say it's you wanna be, a speaker. You wanna be
Hmm.
speaking and have or they want you must get so many people want a TikTok following, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, but
Huge.
they
Hmm.
don't want your following, they want their following.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Yes. You don't want, because you don't even know who my followers are.
Yeah,
Someone's like, well,
right.
how did you get all these women? I'm like, well, how do you know they're even the women that you want? There's a lot of women in the world. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
there's
There could be all kinds of communities and collectives out there for you. Yeah. So build your own. Lauren, you said something just now and it sprung to my head, but it's like, ask people how they did it, but ask them also when they failed, how they handled it. Not
yeah.
just when you were winning, how'd you win, but okay, because I know sometimes we forget that it doesn't always work out, right? The Wright brothers were building that plane and crashing that plane numerous times. So it's like, ask people who are swinging for the fences, but most likely have had a few misses in there, and how do they handle it? Because I think it's important to even hear that. That to me is the biggest fear a lot of my people sit on is I need a guarantee because I can't handle the failure. I can't handle that I might have made a wrong choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Here's how I handled my last failure or dark time.
Oh.
I started a podcast and talked about it.
I
I went
love that.
around
There you
yeah,
go.
I went around and asked people, "Why are we here? What's the meaning of life?" And it turned into a podcast.
Beautiful. And that's what I'm talking about. Like you take it
Who
and you
knew?
just like,
Who
what
knew
did I
that's
need to
where it was
learn?
going? Like, you have
Yeah,
no idea.
I love that. But I say it all the time like, okay, that was a mess. What did we learn?
Yeah.
What can we keep? What do we stop doing? What do I need to start doing? And really using it as a means to understand. Sure, you're going to be a little disappointed, but to sit in that as confirmation that you should never try again, or confirmation that you should never be allowed to like drive on your own, make your own choices. No, that's not it at all. That's not it at
Yeah.
all. You get better every single time. You get smarter as long as you do the reflection,
Yeah,
right?
and
Yeah.
keep an open mind.
Hmm.
Have that open mind and be of service to others. Don't make it all
Absolutely.
about you.
Hmm. Oh, I
Which
love that so much. Mhm.
yeah, which is what you do, your whole community. Oh, and you guys have to look at her TikToks. I'm
I
not on
love them.
TikTok that much. They're Oh my gosh. I mean, you have me moving
They're
my
so
hips since
wonderful.
I met you.
Yeah.
I'm like, make sure I move my hips all the time. I might not look good, which I don't care. It's fun. It makes me laugh. And
How does
I
it
know when
feel?
it's releasing now, and I love it. It makes
Exactly.
me
Yeah.
so happy. And I think of
Yeah.
you. Yeah, your TikToks are amazing. So
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. And I love that community and they're so like supportive of each other. Sometimes I don't even have to jump in. They're just taking care of each other in the comments and it's a beautiful thing. Yeah, it's so cool.
And that is the kind of community we should all want. I
Mhm.
mean, absolutely, because you're gonna attract the same level of vibration that you're vibrating at, the same level of
For
energy you're
sure.
vibrating at. And
No doubt.
so you wanna be careful. I mean, that's so great.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
pretty cool. Although, TikTok doesn't like my dancing videos, so a lot of them don't realize that that's what I do, and it's really funny when they stumble upon when they're like, "Oh, you're rolling on the floor. What's going on? We just thought you gave really good speeches." I'm like, "No, I actually this is my other half. This is what I also do." So, I love that you are bringing it up, and at least people will now know that she also does the sensual movement as well. Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely. I love how long it took you to actually cop to that when you moved to Ohio.
Oh my gosh.
And
The
be your
nightmares.
authentic self. Yes.
It was like, talk about freaking yourself out. Like I had crazy visuals and then like I watched way too many movies, but I'm thinking I was gonna be chased. I mean, I saw like it was like, when they were chasing Frankenstein out of the village. Like I was like gonna be chased by the villagers, out of Shaker. I'd never been here. I didn't know what Shaker looked like. In my mind, I was picturing
I
all kinds
I
of
watched that
ridiculous.
show. I don't watch much TV, but I did watch that show with Shaker was in it, I
Did
think.
you? Oh yeah. It
The
was it Little
Nicole
Fires
Kidman.
Everywhere?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I read the book,
It
so
was
my son and I watched the show.
Yeah, yeah, and they picked up the vibe of it pretty well. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
yeah, I
sure.
heard.
But it turns out that it wasn't that at all, and all the women were really happy I was here, and I had a
Yes.
few of them swinging on poles, and it was great.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, and so it doesn't have to take that long to get to your authentic self. You can actually, and I think it's really important and people know it because
Mhm,
it's all over the place now, especially to anybody who's drawn to listening to this. The more vulnerable you are, the quicker you are to get your tribe and to make those friends. And
mhm,
if you haven't listened to my friendship episode with Marissa Franco, who wrote the
mhm.
book on making friendships as an adult, the professor, who it's such a good episode. And I kind of cyber stalked her till she agreed to be on, which I haven't done for hardly anyone, but I love that episode.
Yeah.
And it's just so good, and it's all about being your authentic self and being vulnerable and taking risk, just like everything else. And that's how we make friendships as adults, because you're kind of the same. It's not like we're in preschool meeting other moms with little kids anymore. And it's
No.
like, where do you make your friends now? And so it's finding common interests and things like that.
But you have to be able to talk, you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and that's why I always
Yes.
said, like, if I found people because and the people that vibed with me most because I wasn't afraid to be myself, to a degree
Mhm.
until the pole dancing was a little skittish in the beginning when I got here. But even then, I would tell people this is what I do, and either they'd back up or they'd lean in. And I started to kind of feel out who my mom was and who wasn't.
Yeah.
And for the most part, though, if you don't, not to be corny, but if you don't allow that part of you to shine, like they're not going to see you, your people, the ones that will resonate with your vibration. You'll keep, running into these people that aren't quite you because they're going to assume that you're this other thing that you're presenting when it's not the truth. So just, put the horn back on, be that unicorn, and just, let the other ones find you. I am always like, I'm so curious about that as an adult. Like, I've had a very tight group of friends, but when you move to new cities, I've had friends who are like, I know no one here. They've all got groups already set, and everybody tells me all the great places to hang out, but no one invites me to go along. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, really? And she's like, it's the weirdest thing. Like, I would hear that from different friends moving to other places. So I know it's not an easy thing to do. So I also wonder too, like, how do you handle that when you are being yourself and still you're not finding your community?
You just have to have faith and keep
Yeah.
putting yourself out there, because
Yeah.
it's happened to me so much recently where I'm in a yoga class in this
Yeah.
other place, and I'm talking to people and they're not responding. And I'm like, what the hell's going
Weird.
on? And people on either side of me are talking to each other on their
Right.
mats before and
But
after
not
class
to you.
and not around me.
Yeah.
And I tried
So weird.
aerial yoga and I thought, okay, as long as I don't
Yeah.
become a paraplegic, which you don't, by the way, if you haven't
Right.
done it, I thought this is going to be so
It's
fun.
so
Although
fun.
it's so fun, except I got a
Mhm.
little motion sick, which I didn't know I even get motion
Mhm.
sick. I'm the one that like, give me that ride at the amusement park. I'll go on anything. And I got a little bit motion sick, which wasn't even in my
Dang.
radar.
Were you spinning?
Yeah, of course I
Okay.
was
Yeah.
spinning. Yeah, it
In the
was fun.
cocoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so fun. Of
Yes,
course I'm
we were
spinning.
cocooned. They're like,
We're
yeah.
suspended from the ceiling. I'm gonna spin in that thing. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I'm like, yes, I'm spinning. I want to. And, but I got motion sick, which, so I went and sat and somebody else I saw sitting, it wasn't that big a class. So they keep
Yeah.
it, tight number, I guess. So none of us become paraplegics. But anyway, and I was like, I thought, oh, we'll bond. No, I'm like, okay, I bonded with the teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
And
like,
it's
all right.
like, but you know what I'm thinking too is that those people are also like freaked out, like
I
about
don't, you know what?
connecting.
I'm not even going to get into it. It's, you know what?
Who knows?
Yeah, I
Right.
can't, the good thing about getting a little bit older, I'm not gonna take it personally. These clearly are,
Right.
I give everything 2 shots with people and groups, and,
Huh.
because it could be a dud week, you don't know. Energy could be weird somewhere,
Right.
and then I keep going. Yeah, go find
Right.
another place.
For sure. For sure. I love that.
Yeah, you gotta keep trying. I mean, I'm still here. Like,
Yeah.
I need I
Yeah.
we need each other. You can't live in
Mhm.
isolation. That's the number one message I've received from 52 Weeks of Hope. And the message is the hope that everyone gives. All the I love your message of nature.
Mhm.
That to me, I mean, yeah. You have to listen to episode
Yeah.
142. It's so good.
Me too. Me
Um
too.
so yeah, we need each other. Just texting is enough. Just seeing each other, even though I feel very connected to you on Zoom, or on StreamYard here,
Yeah.
it's not enough. We need to physically be with each other. It's the number one message. Um, that we need community, and you've
Yeah.
got quite a community that you've developed,
Yeah.
not just locally, but through your TikTok.
Right. Right. Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. And I love what you're saying about that too. It's just, and I do remind them, like, I want you to pour into yourselves, but not to isolate yourselves, to just make yourself more yourself so that you can be in relation with people in a more authentic way, but not so that you disappear into yourself. That's not the point of it. But you do, pour into yourself so that you can be in better relation with others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and do you have any suggestions for people with those limited beliefs like, "Oh, I don't think I can do that," or they're not even aware of it,
Ah.
of how to get rid of it?
I still say we go back to the first original suggestion you made, which is find as many people as possible who are doing the thing that you think you can't do. Flood your feed with those people, follow those people, read about those people, sit and talk to those people, just so that you can start to see that it's possible they're doing. And then again, ask them about what was the scariest thing for them and how they got past it. Don't just ask them how they won, because the thing that's stopping you is the fear piece, and they all were scared too, and that's the part we want to forget about. Everybody had to start somewhere. No one was like coming out the womb with 52 years of experience on anything. So if we could just remember that they were new once, and that they can share what it was like to be new with us, I think that can start to just, okay, they did it, they were terrified, and they did it anyway.
And what do you wish, and ask them, "What do you wish you knew back then?"
Exactly.
That's
Yes,
such a good
and then
question.
soak it up
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
learn, right?
Get all the
Learn and
questions.
apply. But like, you have to just take the first step to even think, okay, all right, I'll ask. I'll even start to think I could possibly do it. I mean, and part of me too is this, like, if you really want to do it, if you really, really, really want to do it, if you really want to do it, you will look at yourself at the end of your years, hopefully a long ass time from now. And I want you to imagine what you're reflecting on. And can you really sit with that? Can you pass on from this world knowing that you didn't do the thing that you wanted to do? Because to me, it's like a hard pass. That I know someone say that would kill me, but I mean, I'm on my deathbed anyway, but like, that's not
Yeah.
how I want to go. That's not how I want to go. I want to go with all the good and the crazy stories and the misses. And so I can talk about that one crazy time that this thing blew up and it was horrible. But we survived it, because those are exciting stories too, because you're still there. It all just, man, if we could all just understand it, and myself included, like, go to the people and ask those questions. Ask those
Yeah.
questions so that you can make it more real for yourself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. So,
Mhm.
anybody listening, you heard this, and go follow Angela on TikTok, and where else are you? And we've got all of your links on the show notes and
IG.
on the websites. Yeah.
Yep, yep. If you either my name or Mama Goddess Queen Woman, on either IG or TikTok.
Yeah. And yeah, this it's so good. And episode 142 of 52 Weeks of Hope, we have everything is on the website. And if you just look in the show notes, you can reach any of us. So this is so great. If you're watching the recording, we're grateful for you. Be sure to follow both of us. And yeah, it was so good. I love catching up with you again.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.